It's interesting that you say that as well, because there's been a lot of column inches dedicated to why some late night talk show hosts have been sacked as well. It was Colbert, wasn't it? Was it Stephen Colbert? Yeah, so he was sacked. I mean, there was some criticism and a fair bit of analysis that said, particularly from the left, that said it was because he was too lefty, he was too political, he endorsed Kamala Harris and he was too critical of Donald Trump. But do you think that is the case, or is that late night television slot just being overtaken by the advent of social media?
The real hardcore danzines of the left want you to believe that things like this, it was a late night television program in this country. It was fairly widely known, very popular, but losing a tremendous amount of money. And the left wants folks here to believe this is politically motivated. The number I saw, Laura, they're losing $40 million US a year on that program.
Wow.
You don't get to do that here for very long before being canceled. Look, if that particular program had been canceled because it had been offensive to Donald Trump, my guess is it would have been canceled effective immediately. And it wasn't. It was canceled effective at the end of the existing contract, which is May of next year. So it's clearly to any folks who sort of sit back and want to take a disinterested sort of third party look at this, that these decisions were economic and not political. Again, that's why I say this is part of this larger discussion in my country right now as to whether or not really is everything need to be political, or can things still be funny? Can things be sexy? Can things be economic? Maybe everything isn't driven by woke DEIism and transgender studies.
Yeah, that's true. I also wonder, I mean, Donald Trump derides the woke left and their lack of a sense of humour, but Donald Trump also doesn't like when he is the brunt of the jokes. I think, well, I mean, you're laughing because you're not surprised at me pointing that
you're
out.
Right.
That's
you're
right.
Not wrong.
But I just think comedy is such an important part of a healthy democratic society. I don't agree with what every comedian. I don't think every comedian is funny, of course. Some certainly tip over the line, but I think their presence and the embracing of the comedic kind of genre and people who are very good. I'm thinking, Dave Chappelle, Ricky Gervais. They are a mirror on a society many times, and if they were ever to be cancelled, well, it really takes out a really important reflection of us and criticism of the powers that be.
Yeah, as far as that pendulum swinging, I don't think we've gotten to the point where Donald Trump is really welcoming comedy about himself.
No. Does he think anyone's funny?
He does. He thinks a lot of folks are funny. They're just not when they're making fun of him. And a lot of folks are like that. Look, I've always operated under the thesis that if you want to make fun of somebody else, you have to be able to make fun of yourself. And I really, really like making fun of other people, so I have to be able to tolerate people making fun of me. I'm not sure everybody does that. Donald Trump doesn't like being made fun of. Does he have a sense of humor? He absolutely does. There's no question about it. But look, he's 80 years old. I'm not sure a lot of 80-year-olds really want to be made fun of at this point in their lives. There was a very high-profile comedy show here about his naked body this past week. I'm not making that up either.
No, he wouldn't like that. And no one would like that, absolutely, to be embarrassed or be the brunt of the jokes. But just give me some insight here. Give us some insight. Was he at all self-deprecating when you worked at the White House with him? Or that doesn't really seem like his style?
No, he really was. It's part of the things that people I don't think understand about Donald Trump. Yeah, he always used to, he will make fun of himself. He'll typically do it in private. Every now and then it comes out in public. I remember talking to him about Camp David one time, the presidential retreat. And I asked him if he liked it or not. He said, well, Mike, I didn't want to like it because they told me it was rustic. And I don't do rustic. But I went out there and it was the way I would do rustic. So he can have a good sense of humor about himself. But look, this is a larger part of a conversation about where we are as a country right now. Maybe we're getting back to where folks are not nearly as afraid to say stuff in public as they were just 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, that is a good turning point. What do you think the point will be where you think we've got back to the sensible centre? What will be the signs, do you think?
We'll see how this movie does on the pure comedy movies. Look, I don't know what it is, Laura. I don't know if anybody knows what it is. I want to see open debate in this country again. I want to see college campuses be places where people can go and speak freely without fear of repercussions. I want to see Republicans and Democrats get hired evenly. Listen, I worked with a lot of people, a lot of very talented young conservative people who went 3 and 4 years without a job after the end of the last Trump administration because they were blacklisted by most major U.S. corporations and most organizations in Washington, D.C. because of their affiliation with Trump. I hope we get beyond that to where politics doesn't impact everything. Right now, it still impacts comedy and sport and fashion, and I'm hopeful that we get beyond that relatively quickly.
Let's hope so. Mick, great to talk to you today.
Thanks, Laura.